This time, let's go with the criminal jurisdiction of Sandiganbayan. There are two elements that must concur to fall under the jurisdiction of Sandiganbayan. The first is that what crime is committed and who committed the crime or the offense. Again, what crime is committed and who committed the crime. These two must concur, otherwise it will not fall under the jurisdiction of Sandiganbayan. What crime committed? So the very first is that there is a violation of Republic Act 3019, the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act. As we all know that Sandiganbayan is the anti-graft court. It is the anti-graft court. So therefore, if there is violation of Republic Act 3019, Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, it should be filed with the Sandiganbayan, but by determining who committed the offense. Next, violation of Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, violation of Republic Act 1379, the forfeiture, other offenses or felonies, whether simple or complex, with other crimes committed by the public officials and employees committed in relation to the office. So there is violation committed in relation to their function. It shall also include those felonies, whether simple or complex, those other crimes committed by the public officials. So if the public officials commits crime in relation to his public office, those other felonies attached to it shall also fall under the jurisdiction of Sandiganbayan. And the last is that the next is that the plunder also falls under the Sandiganbayan. Next, the chapter 2 of section 2, title 7, book 2 of the revised penal code. Again, the chapter 2, section 2, the title 7, book 2 of the revised penal code. These are direct bribery under article 210, indirect bribery article 211, qualified bribery article 211-A, and corruption of public officials under article 212. So if there is or any of these laws are violated, and therefore it is already one of the element. It is already classified as one of the elements. Again, violation of Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, violation of RA 1379, the forfeiture, those simple or complex crimes or felonies with other crimes committed by the public officials in relation to his public duty, plunder. Next is the direct bribery, indirect bribery, qualified bribery, and corruption of public officials. That is the what crime committed. Now next, who committed the offense? Who committed the offense? First, officials of the executive branch occupying the positions of regional director and higher, otherwise classified as salary grade 27 and higher of the Compensation and Position Classification Act of 1989, Republic Act 6758. So those officials with a salary grade of 27 working under the executive branch. So what are those? Who are those? Regional direct officials, like regional director and above. Regional director. Above the regional director is the assistant secretary, under secretary, the secretary, with salary grade from salary grade 27 and above. Next, provincial governors, vice governors, members of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan and provincial treasurers, provincial assessors, provincial engineers, and other provincial department heads. So, they are qualified under the jurisdiction of Sandiganbayan. Next, city mayors, vice mayors, members of the Sangguniang Panlunsod, city treasurers, city assessors, city engineers, city and other city department heads. So, if these officials committed any act violating Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, forfeiture, direct bribery, indirect bribery, qualified bribery, plunder, they shall be filed in the Sandiganbayan. Next, officials of the diplomatic service occupying the position of consul and higher. So consul, ambassadors, diplomat, consuls, ambassadors, they are also under the jurisdiction of Sandiganbayan. Next, Philippine Army and Air Force colonels, naval captains, and all officers of higher rank. So, starting from captain to colonel, major colonel, going up. Next, officers of the Philippine National Police while occupying the position of provincial director and those holding the rank of senior superintendent or full-fledged colonel or higher. So, they are under the jurisdiction of Sandiganbayan. Next, city and provincial prosecutors and their assistants and officials and prosecutors in the office of the Ombudsman and Special Prosecutor. They are also. Next, presidents, directors, or trustees or managers of the government-owned or controlled corporations, the GOCC, state universities, or educational institutions or foundation. They are also under Sandiganbayan. Next, members of the Congress. Members of Congress and officials thereof classified as grade 7, salary grade 27 and above. Members of the judiciary without prejudice to the provisions of the Constitution. So they are also, if they committed Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, forfeiture, direct bribery, plunder, qualified bribery, corruption of public official. Next, chairmen and members of the constitutional commissions. What are those? Or without prejudice with the provisions of the Constitution. Constitutional commissions, the chairman and members. So these are the Civil Service Commission, the COMELEC, Commission on Election, and the Commission on Audit. The last is that all other national and local officials classified as salary grade 27 and higher. So those that are not specifically mentioned, but they are occupying with in a position with a salary grade of 27 and above. All national, whether national or local officials. Once these officials committed any violations under RA 3019, Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, forfeiture, offenses or felonies, whether simple or complex, with other crimes committed by the public officials and employees committed in relation to the office, plunder, direct bribery, indirect bribery, qualified bribery, corruption of public official, then therefore they are liable or under the jurisdiction of Sandiganbayan.